Welcome, everyone, and welcome to our candidates forum this evening for the Graduate Student Government Association and also for the Governance Council and Committees of the CUNY Graduate School of Public Health and Health Policy. On behalf of the CUNY School of Public Health, I am Associate Dean of Student Affairs and Alumni Relations, Lynn Roberts, and I am joined by members of the Graduate Student Government Association, who will, if they would like to, introduce themselves very quickly and their current positions, and then we will proceed to introduce our candidates. So I'll start by introducing the president, Zoe Shack-Levine, who can in turn introduce her colleagues.
Sure. Hi, everyone. It's a pleasure to have you all here. Thank you so much for being here. As Dean Roberts said, I'm president of the Graduate Student Government Association. I've been vice president and senator, and I've also been a USS representative for the past 2.5 years. It's been a pleasure serving SPH, and I'm excited to pass the torch on to all of you. So thank you so much for being here. I will introduce our senators who are here. We have Erin Bacchus and Navkaran Singh, and we also have Melissa Carreno, our communications officer. Feel free to ask us any questions. Oh, Abel is also here, Abel Oni. He's also a senator. So thank you all for being here. Feel free to ask any questions. And anyone else who'd like to introduce themselves at this time from the GSGA, the current Graduate Student Government Association can, or if that was enough, Dean Roberts, you can take the floor as well.
All right, thank you so much. And I also want to let you know that I will do my best to answer any questions folks have about the actual positions that are being voted upon during this season that began yesterday, April 14th, and will continue until April 28th. And I will also mention that we have many exciting candidates. We're thrilled to have 6 of 9 students who stepped forward and nominated or were nominated, self-nominated or were nominated by their peers. And that we are also, that this election season, because not all positions had candidates or nominees, will also consider write-in candidates, but only, folks can only write in for themselves. They cannot write in other people. So I just wanted to point that out. And without further ado, we will proceed. I don't know if the candidates, I know sometimes there are coin flips to decide who kicks things off. We could do alphabetical by first or last name. We might need to do it by last name. We have a lot of, first names, I think, with the similar letter A. But if there's no preference, I think we'll begin alphabetically by last name, if that's okay with others. Yes, give me a thumbs up. Okay. All right. So without further ado, as I look through here, I think that means that we will begin with Ansu Abraham. If you would just unmic, and I am going to spotlight you as you talk. And let me just remember how I do that. I think it's pretty easy. Let's see. There we go. And also, you have 2 or 3 minutes. So I will try and give you a little signal if you go much beyond that. Okay. So please tell us about yourself, why you want to, what positions you are running for or positions, and why. And please begin.
Hi, everyone. I hope you can hear me.
A little louder. Yeah, you can adjust.
Yeah. Is it better now?
Yes.
Hi, everyone. My name is Ansu Abraham. I'm an international student pursuing my MPH in epidemiology and biostatistics. I'm originally from India, and I was a dentist there. I'm running for the master's senator position. I think it will be a good fit because I have held leadership roles previously, and that really helped me understand what I want to do. And that's what led me to look into the GSGA at this point. And I really hope that I can represent my peers and their needs. I think this is a good forum for that. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. You have more time if you wanted, but if that's all you want to share for now, and of course you can also share more later after everyone's had a chance to go at least once.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, and so I believe next will be Alana Cruz, if I've done my alphabet right.
I think so. I'm
Okay. As long as everyone gets to go, I think we'll be okay.
definitely. I'm sorry. I just want to apologize. There have been a lot of ambulances outside, so hopefully that doesn't drown me out. Hi, everybody. My name is Alana Cruz. I am sort of between first and second year MS student in the Global and Migrant Health Policy program. I'm from New York, so I have a long sort of history of really enjoying CUNY institutions and being familiar with people that work and go to school at CUNY. I am running for student representative for the Committee on Equity and Inclusion. I guess this would either be technically a second term or an extension of my first. It's a new committee, and I've been serving since January of 2021. Myself and another student representative were very interested in working towards equity and inclusion issues at SPH. Outside of SPH, I am a speech language pathologist, a pediatric speech language pathologist, and I've been doing health equity work in that profession. A big project I've been working on that I'm applying for grant funding right now is working with professionals to understand their concerns and to make action-oriented goals that would be appropriate for their workplace. So knowing that equity issues are issues in many different healthcare professions, this is how I sort of found it best to work within my own. For this current committee that I'm on, since it's very new, we've been working a lot on the language of the committee, making sure that all students are represented, all staff are represented, that individual concerns are heard. I think that the administration has been very responsive, and myself and my other student representative, we've been actively sort of proposing different ideas that could be sort of hopefully immediately instituted as of the next year or so. And I'd really like to continue in that role and kind of also bring students in as well and understand their concerns a little better. That would be really important to me if I were to continue in this role. So, thank you so much for, letting me be here, and I look forward to hearing the rest of you.
Thank you. Okay. And coming up next is Julia Komakova.
Oh, good. I'm glad. I'm sorry. Let me just start the video. I'll be very brief because I'm actually working right now. I'm at one of the New York City COVID-19 vaccination sites. So I think at SPH, I'm running, and that's why I'm wearing the mask. I'm sorry, it's a safety precaution. We have to wear a mask if your staff member here at all times. So even though I have to wear one. But at SPH, I think I would like to represent students pursuing their master's in science, especially environmental and occupational health sciences. This past whole year has been very trying for all of us because those who started their first year at the SPH literally went from either working or previous educational experience straight to Blackboard without meeting many students, without interacting with many students, and including professors. And it wasn't easy at all. And even trying to navigate scheduling, personal life, school life, work life, and all of that taken together is not easy. And maybe I can sort of impart some of the knowledge from all of the COVID-19 projects that I've been done, as well as my experiences in masters and pursuing my master's degree during this first year for incoming students, and as well as those who are ongoing. I'm sorry for the interruptions. I can't help it. I have to get that quickly.
No, absolutely. We understand and we appreciate you joining us despite your, being where you are in this moment. But
It's been an incredibly gratifying experience, and especially I get to use my knowledge gained during my master's education here, because I've been serving mostly as a safety officer.
Wonderful. We're really excited.
With my master's degree too.
Yes, it's an exciting time to be in public health.
As well, absolutely. We've come through so many challenges here, not just because of school, but also because of the work that we do.
Absolutely. Again, thank you so much. And I hope you'll be able to stay with us in case there are any questions folks have. And we can also use the chat if that's easier for communication purposes. Thank you, Julia. Okay, moving right along, and next we have Antonino Maltese.
Hey, well, good afternoon, everyone. It's really nice to meet most of you guys and everyone else as well. I am running for president as well as treasurer. Again, I'm in the health policy and management program, and it's something that I feel that is very important because coming from an immigrant background, I feel that I've seen a lot of marginalized communities, a lot of marginalized individuals. And my experience with that, along with working with students who have also felt that, they've experienced inequity, they've been marginalized, I've wanted to put that together to help create equitable situations. So hopefully, if elected, I would do that at a macro level, which would help everyone else as well. With that, I to see the rest of my time.
Okay, well, thank you so much for being here and for wanting to serve.
Thank you.
All right. And moving right along, next we have Natalia Sarujna. Give me 1 minute to spotlight you.
Okay. Hello, my name is Natalia Surujnat. I'm a first-year master's student concentrating in health policy and management. I'm running for Governance Council Committee for Equity and Inclusion, as well as Senator. I believe I will be a valuable asset as Senator and Governance Council because I value everyone's voice and will ensure that all complaints are heard. My goal is my dedication to make a difference. Therefore, I will work effectively and efficiently to ensure that the student body is satisfied, not only with my leadership, but with creating positive change. At the moment, we are all still learning online, and I believe interaction is very important. So creating more events via Zoom and other online interactive forums besides having study groups is very essential for our mental health, especially for the times we are currently going through. For example, we could have more online movie nights or create a Discord chat that's not school related but hobby related. I was a part of the equity and diversity personnel at my previous university. So I believe the student body should be comfortable addressing any pressing issues that they may have. And I will always be there to help assist in any way that I can. If we work together, we can make the positive change. Thank you.
Thank you. And next, we have, I hope I didn't skip anyone. Please tell me if I did. I think next we have Catalina. Catalina, are you there? Okay. Let me just spotlight you. Okay.
Hi, everyone. Sorry about that. My name's Catalina Yurichima. So I wanted to run for vice president. And then now that I'm looking also at our candidates, I would also like to nominate myself for president as well. I come from a very diverse background. I lived in Ecuador for the first part of my life, and then I moved here to New York. I'm an avid traveler, and in terms of my professional career, I've been in the healthcare industry for 12 years. So I'm currently a consultant for a health insurance organization. And what I would like to bring to the CUNY, I guess to the CUNY system, is to have more of a internet and virtual presence. I'm currently studying population health informatics. So my learning platform is everything is online, and I would love to be able to have more of a representation from that department. From what I've seen, just kind of doing quick research, there isn't as much representation from my department. And so I would really like to bring that more to the forefront, and how going from the pandemic and being online, we can really take that and utilize all our online tools better, have more of a social media platform. I did take a look at the CUNY Instagram page, and I think there's a huge potential for growth. And also, as my other former candidate who just spoke mentioned, that we can do more things online to make the student body feel more connected, and just create a tighter network, which I think is kind of missing with the pandemic and just having everything online. So I'd love to have the opportunity to do that, and to also just get to know my fellow classmates and colleagues here. So I'm looking forward to that opportunity.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay. I think that's all of the candidates who were able to join us at this time. Please holler if I left anyone out. I don't believe I did. I know we were joined by another senator, Deandra. Welcome. And so now the floor, or the Zoom, is open for questions. And because this is a candidates forum, it's only fair that if a question is asked, that every candidate have the opportunity to respond. So we only have, I think, a few voting members of the audience. I'm going to assume that would be Cabrina, and is it Andrea or Andrea Ferguson?
Andrea, yes.
Andrea. So you two, either one can ask a question. I don't, because none of the, well, are any, no, some of the current GSGA members who are continuing are voting members, so you can also ask questions. But I think we'd like to give a first opportunity to either Andrea or Cabrina. How is that fair enough? So please, if either of you have a question to ask our candidates, please do so.
Hi. I guess I would just want to know what all of you, if you have any ideas about how to make it a little easier during this pandemic for the next year. You know, you were talking about the difficulties of going to school online, and I'd like to hear about any ideas you have related to that.
And any or all can respond in any order this time. I see a hand from Alana. You have the floor.
Hi, I'm just going to lower my hand. Thank you for your question. I've thought a lot about this because this certainly has been sort of an interesting way to begin a graduate program. And I started in January 2020 and was quickly moved online. And I'm sure many of you have had similar experiences or starting online. I think one concern that I've been thinking a lot about in terms of not having access to maybe some professional development opportunities, or I mean, I know there's been actually a lot of really good webinars and short courses that CUNY offers. My suggestion, or one of my suggestions as part of the Committee for Equity and Inclusion, was to create an ongoing mentorship program with alumni. So that's sort of in the process of being acknowledged and created. I think knowing that one of the experiences that students look for is an eventual internship or an eventual job placement. I think having an idea of what's available and having a connection outside of SPH who's connected with SPH, I think would be very important for feeling connected and like you're moving forward with the coursework. So that would be just one idea. I'm sure there's many, but I'm looking forward to hear what others have to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Any others care to respond to the question from Andrea? Any ideas about making it easier during the pandemic is the question. Yes, Catalina.
So I think that's also a question that I've been thinking about too. Kind of what I talked about initially when I introduced myself was just having a stronger social media presence and having more presence on Instagram. I think that's a platform that a lot of people utilize for different, if whether it's just for fun or if also for a lot of educational purposes. And I think that's an area where that's really underdeveloped at this point. So I know I talked about that piece, but the other thing that I found just being in my courses and having them online is just having a small group that I connect with on a regular basis, whether initially it was just to work on a project, and then afterwards I was able to maintain those connections. And so now I've continued it into my second semester and just we're in two different programs, but I still communicate with 2 or 3 people who initially were part of my team. And so now we just check up on each other, we'll call each other up and we'll see how things are going. And I think that's a different way of maintaining relationships and and kind of developing a friendship, and then also networking, right? So I think having those kind of opportunities, and maybe not solely just because of projects, but starting them once you come in as a brand new student, connect them to 2 or 3 other students that are already in different semesters or different programs that they know that they can reach out to. And so so that would be like your initial friend base. It could kind of like show you the ropes. So that would be another way that I would approach this distancing that we have. Thank you.
Thank you. Would any other candidate like to respond to the first question? Any ideas about making it easier during the pandemic?
Yes, I would like to respond.
Mhm.
I actually, a little bit to follow up on what Alana said. I've actually done a lot of internships regarding getting students involved in different communities, getting them internships, which I think is something that's important right now. As we mentioned, a lot of kids are stuck at home. They are looking for that interaction. So being able to get them internships, being able to get them active, especially within their fields, at a time like this where they may not feel like, they're able to get the access they want. is vital. So I would definitely say, pushing internships, getting people access is wildly important right now.
Thank you, Antonino. Any other candidates? Yes, Natalia.
Yeah, I think as my candidate just said, I think social media is very important, especially when it comes to like self-care. I think that's an issue we all tend to forget. So I think the Instagram page should be more focused on like ways we can take care of ourselves as well. And I think again, like as I previously mentioned, I think we need more interactive measures. So like creating a Discord and like talking about our hobbies. I think that creates more like smaller connections, and then that could lead into our like school life or like with connections in the internship position and stuff like that. Just a matter of putting ourselves out there. And I think as senator, we need to like create those platforms for people.
Thank you, Natalia. All right, any other candidates who would like to or can respond?
I just wanted to say I agree with what all my other candidates have said. I agree that we need smaller groups, and that would probably help us connect better. Yes, and I agree, maybe something that would be like a chat, something like Discord or something with smaller chat rooms. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Antu. And is that everyone? It might be that Julia's occupied at the moment. Is anyone I did not give an opportunity to respond before I take the next question? Okay, we're okay to move on. I see a hand from Deandra. Is that with a question?
Yes, I do have a question. So Catalina, you brought up GSGA's social media presence, and you mentioned that it could be improved. So what I want to know for all the candidates, what you think is lacking in our current social media outreach, and in what ways would you engage the student body more on social media, specifically on Instagram? I'm curious how you guys think we could be more engaging in that.
Okay. And again, you can respond in any order if you would like to, just by unmuting. Anyone want to elaborate?
Well, I can I can answer first since it kind of gets started with me, but so I'm actually just looking at the page now, and just with followers, there's 231 followers and 139 following, right? So I think in general, just maybe increase those numbers, having highlighting more our social media presence, or whether it's an Instagram page or the SPHGSGA online webpage at the very beginning when students have signed on and we're doing our welcome and introduction. Those pieces were not in there when I remembered going through this back in late summer of last year. So I may have forgotten, but but again, that's also another point, right? That it wasn't highlighted, so it's not in my brain. I didn't connect with that. So we're missing out on a lot of students when they're joining the CUNY system and even returning on the second semester. I think that's another way to capture some of these students and increase your following. And then I'm not really sure how the marketing is, or if there is any marketing. Usually on Instagram, when you look at a page, you'll get reminders to either follow or highlights. But when I've checked the page in the past, when I've checked it in the past, I haven't had a reminder of anything along those lines. So I think those are just simple techniques that could be increased. I do see that there's great information on here that's already been posted, but there's also a lot of writing that maybe is not captured, doesn't capture the attention of students or people just who like to look at things really quickly for 5 seconds. And if it's not grabbing their attention, then they move on to the next thing, right? Social media is so huge and there's so much to see in the world. So I think we want to put up content that really will capture the students' attention. So what's going on at that time frame in the semester, what would be, for example, we talked about some of the things the other candidates talked about, connecting them to internships, right? So maybe there's something that we could post on there about connecting specifically for SPH internships, or if it's coming out and or things that are coming up and things that we can't miss. Just like we had, I think yesterday there was a webinar, right, that I joined. So those kind of informations that pop up and highlight really quickly, I think will also be another way to gather more people and have more of a higher presence, just right off the top of my head from from what I can think of. But I really do think being on the population health informatics side, right? So I'm doing a lot of designing classes, kind of thinking about who the user end is. I think all of my background on that, plus also my work is remote. I do bring a lot of knowledge when it comes to being virtual and online and how to create that connection. So hopefully I'll have the opportunity to show you really what I can do and what I can bring to the team.
Thank you. And I see the hands, and I just want to point out that Julia did add something to the chat that I'll read aloud. She said, I just wanted to mention that a lot of universities are adopting a blended learning system where part of the classroom experience is hands-on and the remaining majority is virtual. So I just wanted to put that out there. And I don't know if anyone else wants to respond to Deandra's question about increasing what is lacking in our social media and how to be more engaging. And if not, we'll move on to another question because I do see another hand.
I just briefly wanted to respond, to say that I definitely would agree a lot of what Catalina said, and just being a follower on their page, it seems like there's been some really nice development over the last, 6 months to I'm not exactly sure how long I've been following it, but at least the last 6 months in terms of education. It's difficult, I think, to place events there just with, everything happening with COVID still. Those restrictions are obviously still very much affecting how sort of people navigate the world. I don't know if anybody has seen the CUNY TikTok account, but it's genius. It's like, students and they're sort of addressing issues that might be part of like the CUNY community. And, obviously a lot of people follow it and comment on it, and something not necessarily exactly like TikTok, but having real students, I don't know, showing their vaccine card, or, having a real student, I don't know, showing something that they're doing in real life, public health related, whether it's like spotlighting someone at work or doing, something sort of special in their community, I think would be kind of cool. I think people connect to real people too. So that's just my idea.
Thank you so much. Any other candidates wish to respond to the question on the floor?
Yeah.
Okay.
Regarding improving the Instagram, I actually worked with CUNYCAP, the Counseling Assistance Program. And what we've done actually to improve our department, what we've done is we've actually created Powtoons, very similar to TikToks. But what we do is we go out, we speak with community members at local establishments that provide internships, that provide grants, and we meet with them. We create a Powtoon. It's like a short little cartoon, and we send it out to the professors. And we've actually had a pretty good response from professors who seem to enjoy it, and they send it out to their students. So we have seen an increase at the career department of success on campus at CSI. So I'm pretty proud of that. That's something that I think I could bring, if I was to come along. I usually do the more behind the rule kind of stuff. You could tell by my nervousness, but yeah, that would just be one idea.
Thank you for that. some great ideas circulating from a great question. So thank you for that, Deandra. And I think that everyone's had a chance to respond who wanted to respond to that one. I see another hand from, I think next was Cabrina.
Correct. Present evening, everyone. So I have this question for all the candidates. So with the many things that are happening and all the different tasks that we have to work on, such as you have to work, you probably have your field work, and you're probably a full-time student. What is one measure you will utilize to ensure that you maintain effectiveness in the position that you're running for?
And who wished to respond first? Please just unmute yourself. Or maybe you want to think about it. And either Cabrina or I can repeat the question if you like.
Sure. So with all the many things that you have to do, such as being a full-time student, field work, and your job, and with us living in a virtual space due to the pandemic, what is one measure that you will utilize to maintain effectiveness in the position that you're running for?
I'm sorry, was anyone?
So I have an answer again. I don't want to be the first to go, so if anybody else wants to go, but I'm happy to start.
You have the floor.
All right, so I think, well, that's a great question. And I think that's something that we all struggle with on a regular basis, right? We have so many competing priorities, but what I've found through my career and then also just being in different collegiate programs is just making sure that you know who your teammates are, who are those people that you have on your side, and utilizing their strengths, and also just being able to express yourself and what those needs are. So I think really being a team player and learning who those people are that you're working with really helps to balance also the amount of work, and two, just being able to work off of everybody's competencies and strengths, and while also at the same time learning where there's possible opportunities to improve and kind of helping them there as well. But being able to work in a team setting and not taking everything on yourself, I think really helps with not just prioritizing, but also just being able to accomplish everything on a timely manner. So that's how I would try to do, balance what I have now, and then also being a candidate and taking on a new role.
Thank you. Would anyone else like to respond to Sabrina's question? What is one measure that you will utilize to ensure effectiveness, to maintain your effectiveness in your position?
I can go next. Is that okay?
Absolutely.
I agree with what Catalina said before me, but I'd also like to add that I think time management is probably important, especially since everybody else will also have very busy roles. I would add that we should pick a time that everyone is available at, so that everyone can be fully present for every meeting or a discussion that might be taking place. I think it's important that everyone else is also available at the same time. That's something I would think is needed.
Thank you. Okay. Then, oh, okay, Alana, please.
I could just jump in really quickly. I certainly agree with what Ansu, sorry, and Catalina had said. I would also say, especially with the committee meetings I've been on, obviously blocking out that time in my schedule, utilizing a planner, being very mindful about sort of my limitations, but also adding I do have a flexible schedule, so that certainly helps. But also just sort of having extra time in a week right after a meeting to do follow-up emails, follow-up work, follow-up meetings really helps. So I kind of tend to have a lighter week on the committee meeting weeks. So I guess that's my answer.
Thank you. And I see we're at the 10-minute.
I would like,
Well, we'll still let folks respond this round. Please go on, Natalia.
I think for that question, I think we have to utilize like the virtual aspects of things. So for instance, like as my other colleagues were saying, like previously, social media is important. And I think putting emphasis on study groups on social media and like different times that people can meet, and just, I think it's more so about outreach and just making sure everyone is present and there. I think that's important in terms of like utilization.
Thank you. Thank you so much. All right. Antonino?
Yeah. So to be honest with you, I've always been more of a computer person, so being virtual hasn't been too big of an issue for me. But one thing that I've noticed that has helped me juggle, a lot of the responsibilities that I have between work, school, and everything in between is improving upon becoming a better active listener. I work with a lot of students, and being able to understand them and really grasp, their situations has helped me, remediate situations quicker, be a better listener, be able to, just be able to help them. So, and it helps me because, if I can help my students who are working under me, it makes my life easier. So I would definitely say being an active listener.
Wonderful, and thank you. And I am just going to, there's two more questions in the queue. I think next is Melissa.
Hi, everyone. So I loved all the ideas. I wish I had I wish I had all those ideas during this pandemic for the communications and Instagram part. I love all the ideas, and it was difficult during the pandemic, and we've tried to get students to send us videos, to send us pictures, depending on the topic, and it was hard. It was difficult. So my question is similar to what Deandra was saying, but in terms of that, if you guys want that to happen, kind of have to figure out how can you get students to actually send you pictures, send you videos, send you whatever you need so that you can post it on social media. I felt like I struggled with that the most, and maybe you guys have better ideas on how you can reach out to students to send you, those things, because you do want to see different faces, SPH students on social media, sending you videos on whatever it is, whatever topic it is, whatever event it is, whatever, public health topic it is for the month. It would be great to have, like you guys said, student videos, pictures, stories, reels, whatever it is, to get it on there. But it would be great to hear how can you actually get students to do it. That was my challenge, and I hope you guys can figure it out and we can see more of them out there on social media, especially on our page.
So, anyone want to give some tips?
Dean Roberts, before we move on to responses, can I just quickly add to what Melissa said, because it's very, very similar?
Okay, go right ahead.
So along the same lines, I'm hearing a lot from folks that you're really interested in increasing the social media presence, engaging with students virtually, considering the space that we're currently in. And I think those are both things that we as the current GSGA were really, really hoping to do. And obviously it didn't, pan out that way. It was really, like Melissa said, a very difficult thing to get students to engage. And a lot of that may have been the difficulty in transition, and maybe that will be a little bit easier now when folks are a little bit more comfortable being virtual and studying remotely. But I won't pose this as a question just for the sake of time, but I would like to encourage you all to think about the ways in which you would encourage folks to both engage with social media, but also to show up to events, because we did try so many varying events, you know, trying to have folks come and just like hang out, watch a movie, have a time to like talk about things outside of school and study groups. And people were just zoomed out, you know, like including myself. It was really hard for us to say like, we want to do this, because we all felt it. And I'm sure that we're all still feeling it now. So I think I would encourage you all to, as excited as we are to engage people virtually and to have folks be present in this virtual space, it's really, really difficult. So I think working together and trying to brainstorm new ideas and novel ideas that maybe don't necessarily involve just shooting an Instagram post out there, but I don't know, you know, we've struggled to come up with them, but I'd encourage you to think about that.
So with that and the 5 minutes we have left, please, any candidates can respond to that, but also offer us anything else you would like to say in closing. Okay, so I think we have 5 of you who are able to speak, so you'll each have 1 minute to either respond to that combined question from Melissa and Aaron about engagement of our student body, both online, offline, in whatever way possible, as well as any other closing remarks. And we'll begin, I think I saw Alana ready to go.
Sorry. So I had been thinking about this, not necessarily from a social media perspective, but just an institutional perspective of having kind of an incentive. You know, I wasn't sure if it was just the pandemic or just school-wide. I have no idea what work anyone's doing beyond like the few people that I've met in the program. And I was really hoping the institution would create, as part of their website, or, you know, communications, emails, just like, oh, this is something really cool one of our students is doing. And I think if, you know, the government association could kind of connect with that and sort of cross spotlighted or expand that, I think that would be a good way to kind of just like highlight the work people have been doing, because I think that's a need. Like, I really don't know what a lot of the other students are doing. And I wonder if it could sort of start top down a little bit with just like email blasts, you know, about that. But that's just my idea. And thank you all for letting me speak to you. I'm gonna have to just leave in a moment or two, but thank you.
Actually, that was your timer.
Thank you.
Sorry, I'm having trouble. Okay. And anyone want to go next? Closing remarks. Antonio?
Yeah. So just to respond to Aaron and Melissa, like I said, I've done programs here at CUNYCAP that we have created Powtoons. We've used GitHub to create software to interact with students. We actually made like a small video game that was maybe, you know, 5 minutes long, but the end goal was, you know, as they were playing along, they would just, it was like a resume bingo. So they would learn little ways to improve their resume. And at the end, you know, we would get them to sign up to meet with us, and we would speak to them about different internships, different opportunities that we can get for them. So, I mean, that's just one potential idea that I think would help on social media, students being able to see, you know, something interactive, but also knowing like there's an end goal, like we can get you, you know, experience in a field that you would, you know, enjoy.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Natalia?
In regards to the question, I think in terms of like social media, it's more so about interaction. So definitely like, because on the Instagram page, from what I see, it's mostly just on stories, shared posts that was already posted previously. So I think it's more so that we have to keep engaging, keep creating polls and questions, and realizing that Instagram is not the only social media tool out there, because there's many people that probably use Snapchat or Twitter or Facebook. So we have to utilize those as well. And in terms of like people not wanting to send their videos and pictures, I think that's more so in terms of I was a social media intern for my previous university. And a lot of people didn't feel comfortable sending pictures and videos because they felt as if their minority status was being exploited. So I completely understood that. And I think it's more so of how we present the idea to people on how to share their content. So I think, like, as my previous colleague said, like creating a video game and stuff like that is actually really important. I think it creates more of interaction, and it's just, we need to focus on putting resources out there for people to see so they will want to give back. And thank you for the opportunity.
Muting because of my outside noise. So we have 2 more candidates, so we are going to go a little over time. So Ansu and then Catalina will finish us out.
I wanted to say first, thank you for this opportunity. And to respond to the question, I would say that the interaction is the most important part. So I feel like there's more conversation happening on the Facebook group more than the Instagram. So I would look at something similar to that. Also, I wanted to add that I think the previous council did a really good job because I found out through the Facebook group to even apply. So thank you. And I know they're working really hard. So I've attended one of their meetings, and yeah, I just wanted to say that before I ended. So thank you.
Thank you, Ansu. And Catalina.
So in terms of the question, as I've mentioned, I'm all for virtual presence and then just doing online platforms and connecting them, right? But what I've also found is that you need to also utilize your connections to the fullest extent. So for example, I think just thinking about how I would start to increase Instagram or Facebook would be to just connect with my friends, my peers that I already have a connection with, that I already have them on my cell phone that I text with on a regular basis and say, hey, there's a lot of cool information on here. Hop on, go ahead and follow, right? So word of mouth, I think to start with, even though it's for virtual, right? It kind of sounds, I guess, it's a little bit of a juxtaposition. However, I think that will also get your numbers up as well. And then incorporating our professors. I have really great professors who share a lot of awesome information or just say, hey, check out this webinar that's coming on. Make sure you go and listen, register. So just letting them know that we're there, that we are posting all this great information, but nobody's responding or nobody's participating. I think they would be also very willing to help us with that piece. And if we are, the GSGA has representation from each department, then just 5 people alone, you can see the significance of how everyone is interconnected and how much we can grow by just sharing and asking our professors to share and work with us on those pieces. So that would be where I would start with that. But I really do appreciate the opportunity having met everyone and just hearing what your ideas are. And I do think that the council has done a really great job already. So we can only continue to grow from here. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. And I am going to read from the chat Julia's closing remarks. She says, thank you all for sharing ideas with me today. I believe that next year will be regarded as a year of change, reinvention, and implementation of ideas based on unparalleled challenges we faced during this difficult time. So without further ado, I want to thank all of you for your comments, your statements, the attendees for your questions, the outgoing GSGA members for your leadership and support of all of us this past year, and also particularly those who helped in planning this event, Nav and Abel. And again, thank you for coming. I am going to stop the official recording and we will be back in touch. I wish you all the best in your campaigns. We've already asked you to send to Melissa by the end of this week so that we can highlight you in next week's newsletter. So we look forward to all that you will share with us going forward.